sigurado to. 3-year student training or 4I2, family stream or even 1862. From refusal to appeals, we make it right. Approved na kami. Thank you Auspac overnight. Tiwala sa Auspac, visa mo'y alaga. May puso sa serbisyo mula umpisa. Pinoy ka man o saan mang panig ng mundo. Auspac visa, laging nandito. Auspac visa, laging nandito. Need a review for your GTE or help sa skills assessment, worry-free. Labor market testing, compliant plans. May support ka dito, hawak ang iyong kamay. They were honest, fast, and truly cared. With Auspac, my dream was shared. Clear process, walang stress, highly recommend. Digital tools, chatbot help, webinars and guide yourself. Visa mo'y sagot namin, with trust and love that's always been sa Auspac visa. Botang pangarap mo, visa support with care that grows. Legal ready, trusted for years. Auspac visa, wala kang fears. Sa Auspac visa, visa mo, sagot ko. Study man o partner, di ka malalagot. Tourist, skilled o work visa mo, aalagaan ka, sigurado to. 3-year student training or 4I2, family stream or even 1862. From refusal to appeals, we make it right. Approved na kami. Thank you Auspac overnight. Tiwala sa Auspac, visa mo'y alaga. May puso sa serbisyo mula umpisa. Pinoy ka man o saan mang panig ng mundo. Auspac visa, laging nandito. Auspac visa, laging nandito. Need a review for your GTE or help sa skills assessment, worry-free. Labor market testing, compliant plans. May support ka dito, hawak ang iyong kamay. They were honest, fast, and truly cared. With Auspac, my dream was shared. Clear process, walang stress, highly recommend. Digital tools, chatbot help, webinars and guide yourself. Visa mo'y sagot namin, with trust and love that's always been sa Auspac visa. Botang pangarap mo, visa support with care that grows. Legal ready, trusted for years. Auspac visa, wala kang fears. Sa Auspac visa, visa mo, sagot ko.
Welcome to the Visa Mo, Sagot Ko, ang kauna-unahang lingguhang talakayan ng mga bagong balita at batas ukol sa Australian Migration Law and Process. tuwing Miyerkules 6 to 6:30 ng gabi mula sa Auspac Visa. Auspac Visa is a trusted Australian migration agency for Filipinos all over the world. Auspac Visa is the home for all Filipino professionals, skilled workers, partners, families, students, graduates, and trainees who want to visit, live, work, and permanently stay in Australia. Makipanayam dito sa Visa Mo, Sagot Ko, ang kalahating oras na talakayan ng mga balita, batas, proseso, at mga isyung tungkol sa pag-a-apply ng Australian Visa. Kasama niyo po si Teresa Cardona, Director, Lawyer at Registered Migration Agent mula sa Auspac Visa sa Brisbane, Australia. Paalala lang po na ang mga talakayan at mga impormasyong mababanggit sa programang ito ay sa pawang mga impormasyon lamang at hindi payong legal at hindi rin at walang kinalaman sa mga personal at natatanging sitwasyon ng mga nanonood at nakikinig. Ang Australian Immigration Law ay madalas na nagbabago kung kaya't makabubuti na ugaliing magsayasat at humingi ng payong akma sa inyong pansariling pangangailangan. At ngayon, live mula sa Brisbane, Australia, ang inyong host at tagapagtalakay ng mga balita, issue, batas at proseso na nauukol sa Australian Migration and Visa Application, Teresa Cardona, Director, Lawyer, and Registered Migration Agent from Auspac Visa.
Hello, good evening everyone. Magandang hapon sa ating mga kababayan. Magandang hapon din sa mga nakikinig sa amin ngayon at doon sa mga audience na patuloy na nag-share ng video o kaya naman na sinasabi sa mga kaibigan o kamag-anak tungkol sa amin. Maraming salamat po. Sana po patuloy niyong tangkilikin ang Auspac Visa o Visa Mo, Sagot Ko dito sa aming every Wednesday na live question and answer and discussion of topics tungkol sa Australian visa. Now, as usual po, if you do have some questions, you can post it dun sa comment section so that I can answer them one by one later on. So, ang topic natin ngayon ay 485 visa, yung temporary graduate visa para doon sa mga nag-student visa dito, of course, sa Australia, no? So, usually the problem is kung mag-expire na yung kanilang 485 visa. So, ano yung mga strategic options that may be available to you na hindi nyo pa alam hanggang ngayon o kaya naman alam nyo, hindi nyo alam kung pwede pa o hindi. So, bago matapos yung inyong visa, so dapat alamin nyo na ngayon, ano? So, really, this topic is for those who are intending to apply for 485 visa and those who are holding a 485 visa temporary graduate visa. Okay? Whether first time nyo to sa 485 visa o second time o kaya extension ng kanyang 485 para dun sa mga nasa regional area, this topic is for you. But nonetheless, for those people who do have questions about other types of visa, yes, you are welcome to put your questions and then I'm going to answer. Again, for those who do not know, and we're really sorry dun sa iba na tinatanggihan namin for representation or even for initial consultation, it is primarily because we are specializing with Filipino clients. So, and that's why I always want to speak in Tagalog just to actually get or put across the message that I am specializing with Filipino clients rather than clients from other countries. No, but in the past we've done applications from Nepal, application from China, Japan, and even the UK and Latin American countries. No, if we can reduce those loads, we would love to in order for us to concentrate with Filipino visa applications. Okay, so anyhow, so let's start with the 485 visa, the temporary graduate visa. Okay, so this topic is very important for the 485 visa holders, mainly because 485 itself is a temporary visa. So meaning to say, if it is a temporary visa, there is always an expiry date. So kung may expiry date yan, the thing that you will need to think about is, what am I going to do when my visa expires? Or do I have a plan after the deadline or the expiry date of this current visa? So very important yun. That's very critical actually. When you receive your graduate visas, first thing that you need to know, okay, I've got my 485 now. How many months do I have? How many years do I have? Do I need to prepare something? Is this a promise that I'm going to get a PR at the end of this? So always remember that 485 visa is a temporary visa. It has a deadline, so you have to know what you need to do when that visa expire. And good thing there is, of course, the visa expiry is predictable, meaning to say it's transparent. It is in your visa grant. So alam niyo kung kailan mag-expire yan. Although alam niya kung kailan mag-expire yan, if you did not act, if you did not plan, then of course the consequence will be very substantial. No, it could also be severe, meaning to say it may cause you to go back to your home country, or lose your job in the process. So those things, no. So a wrong timing can actually close your PR pathway. So that's very clear. So if you don't have a visa to be able to stay in Australia, then you will not have an opportunity to extend that stay in Australia, which will require you to go back home, or I mean go overseas. So sayang din yung panahon na yun, ano? And also, if you plan earlier, then a PR may be possible. Kasi if you know, skilled migration is something that you really need to prepare about, no? Because that can take a long time, because that requires an invitation. So kung halimbawang hindi ibig sabihin nag-apply ka sa skilled migration o nag-express ka ng interest for skilled migration, ay maimbitahan ka agad. So at least you need that long time. That's why timing is very, very critical. And if you happen to lose your eligibility and lawful stay in Australia, well, obviously the opportunity will be very limited. So in other words, your migration future or your migration success will actually depend sometimes on strategy. So hindi doon sa mga last minute actions, and hindi din doon sa pera. Kahit na marami kang pera, if you miss the date, you miss the date. No, you cannot pay anyone. So, hindi pwedeng, kahit sabihin mo sa akin, babayaran kita kahit magkano because this is very important for me. But if you miss the deadline, there's nothing much we can do about it. So, that's how severe it is. So, it's very critical, very important to keep in mind that 485 is a temporary visa. It has an expiry and you need to act, you need to plan ahead of time. Okay, so question there is, if you do have your 485 visa, how much time do you have? Now, normally, a 485 visa for bachelor degree holders, or those who are qualified for the for a graduate visa because they've taken a bachelor degree, they usually have 2 years, right? So 2 years yon. So with that 2 years, I mean, you can plan ahead of time, no? Doon naman sa mga vocational courses, they do have 1 year and a half, so about 18 months. But some people are very clever. So some people are very smart. So they plan ahead even before applying for the 485 visa. So they know exactly what to do. Kaya minsan naman maximize nila yung kanilang bridging visa while waiting for the approval of 485, no? So very important. Now, assuming that you weren't able to plan straight ahead and you're not that smart and that clever person to actually, plan ahead of time. Say, for example, you have 12 months of visa remaining in your temporary graduate visa. So what are you going to do? So if you have 12 months or more than 12 months, no, use that. So check your English, right? Get a test for English, no? Kung yung test mo before ay medyo mababa, or ikaw yung nakakuha ng graduate visa na 6 pa lang yung English requirement. So I mean, it's don't sit on that just for the 6, no? Because the higher your English, the better you your position for the for skilled migration, because as you know, so skilled migration, there are points, certain points for whatever English you have. Say for example, if you have superior English, you get 20 points. If you have proficient English, then you have 10 points. But if you're going to stay with 6, because that was the requirement for a temporary graduate visa, then you don't get any points. So I mean, use your 485 if you're working. At the same time, try to go on improve your English so that you can start booking for your English test and get a higher score for your English. And then also, if you haven't done your skills assessment, so you can make use of the 485 visa as soon as possible. But if you have the 12 months validity, stay in Australia because you have the 485, yeah, go for skills assessment, right? And it is assumed that with your 12 months remaining in your 485 and you have completed a bachelor degree, you must have also completed at least 1 year full-time work experience, which is normally required for, say, for example, for VTSS skills assessment. For others, it may not be required. Okay, so just think about what skills assessment do I need to do, and under what occupation is it, no? And then if you are lucky to have a sponsor who is very supportive of your future, then you can probably start discussing your sponsorship options as early as possible so that you can align whatever tasks are given to you, kasi yung ibang employer, they're not really are also aware of the list of occupations, and sometimes um, the task that you are doing may be articulated in a specific occupation. So very important din yon. So if you discuss it early, the better. And really, as I'm saying, the competition now is different with the young ones, especially the new breed of student visa holders, no, because they are very much aware of what they can do from the very beginning. So this is one thing good about yung revision, yung changes sa student visa application na naging strict, because the quality of the students and graduates now are different because they know what they're seeking, they know what to do, they actually plan ahead, and you can see that they control their future. Unlike in the past, yung iba't ibang klaseng students ang pumasok sa Australia, they really are confused. And the worst thing there is they were promised that they're going to have a PR without even knowing on what are the steps that they're going to take once in Australia. So in a way, there is a good outcome of these changes that happened with student visa application. So now we are dealing with smarter student visa holders and smarter 485 visa holders, which is very good. Now also, now if you have the graduate visa that has 6 months remaining, so when you have to decide on what primary pathway are you going to take. Is it going to be a sponsored visa application? So you can, start preparing, or is it going to be the skilled visa application? Is it going to be another student visa? Is it going to be a family partner visa? So 6 months before the expiry, you have to be thinking of that. You have to be planning on that so that you don't become unlawful in the end, or you don't want to rush when the visa is about to expire. Now, if say for example, if you only have 3 months remaining in your visa, well, that's an urgent case, no, emergency yan, no? So which means to say you really need to get a professional help to troubleshoot the issue and help you speed up in order for you to meet the deadline. However, the consequence of that is, of course, you are going to have a very limited option. There's not a lot of room for flexibility, and in most cases, it became dearer. It is more expensive because you are fighting against time. So, yeah, long planning is always the best. And then, of course, if it is a rush application, that could only mean that the possibility of getting refused is always there, and you won't be able to present a really strong application if the time is very limited. And yung ipagsiksikan mo na lang yung option mo doon sa isang natitirang hindi pa masyadong siguradong option. So that's a very difficult one. That's why lagi kong sinasabi, mahirap kalaban ng oras, mahirap kalaban ng ang araw, mahirap kalaban ng deadline when it comes to visa processing. So time gives you more options, and of course, the delay and inaction will take away options that could have been available to you. Okay, so what are the options now? So first option, which is the most obvious one for 485 visa applicants, is of course the employer sponsorship, the SET plus 482, or if you want to go to a regional area, then there could also be a possibility of 494. Assuming that you have a skills assessment and 3 years work experience in that particular occupation. But the easiest will be a 482 because a 482 will only require you to have completed at least 1 year full-time work experience. There's no skills assessment required unless you belong to a particular occupation. But generally, if you're coming from student visa and you've done your 485, and you want to do your 482, you're most likely exempted from skills assessment. So you can do the Southwest 482 if your occupation is on the list. And then second, if your employer is willing to sponsor you and they are able to meet the financial obligations as an employer. And also if the salary that will be given to you will meet the meet or the salary threshold requirement, which is at the moment is 76,515. And obviously, the employer will need to meet the labor market testing, the advertisement of the position, so that Australians will not be disadvantaged as well, and making sure that that job is not offered to you because you need a visa or because you are a migrant. And I mean, we need to be fair, and it needs to be available for both Australians and for overseas um, employees or candidates. But the preference, of course, will be Australian citizen applicants, unless it can be shown that they are not available to actually perform the job. Now, also, the important reality with the 482 visa is, not all employers will promise you to give you sponsorship will actually, one, honor their promise, because a promise is a promise. It's not legally binding. Merong iba na pumupunta sa amin, attorney, pwede ba namin i-demanda yun kasi pinramis niya sa amin na bibigyan niya kami ng sponsorship. Well, no, definitely no. Because it's a promise na it's not a legal binding contract. But anyway, although on the other side, not all employers can legally sponsor. Okay, because again, they will need to meet the requirements of sponsorship. They will need to present their financials. They will need to present their registration, their bank statements, and all those things, no. And obviously, kung hindi kumikita yung business, then it would be hard to justify why they needed someone if the business is not doing well. But obviously, all those questions, I mean, as a practitioner, we can make ways. We can, pull out anything from the employer and make justification if we see them. So anyway, just like what I've said, employers sponsorship must be genuine. Hindi pwedeng ginawa lang dahil kailangan nyo ng visa. It must be lawful, and it must be defensible, meaning to say whatever you claims, even if it's not falling straight to the law, there may be some exemptions that are applicable to them. Then we can do that for you. Now, also, what is option number two? Option number two is go through skilled migration, which is subclass 189, 190, and 491. Now, each visa has its own requirements and its own eligibility. But all of this, 189190491, you will need to provide skills assessment. You will also need to do your English test, and you will also need to meet the competitive points. So as we say, the pass mark is 65. The higher your score is, the better, because there's a greater chance that you will be invited. And then, of course, if you are looking at state nomination, then you will have to look whether the state needs you and whether you can be invited so that you can proceed with your visa application. So the first thing that you need to understand with 189190491 is that when you lodge an EOI, remember that EOI is not a visa application. EOI is an expression of interest. So if you are onshore holding a 485, do not think that I've lodged my EOI and therefore I can stay. No, it's a different part, different division of the Department of Home Affairs. It is not obliged to give you a bridging visa if you only express your interests. All right. And there is no guarantee of invitation. So, I mean, anyone, any practitioner that would tell you that, yes, you will be invited in 3 days or 3 months or 3 weeks, that's your cue to walk away, because no one knows if you're going to be invited. And we can only make projections, we can only show you the trend, but it's not guarantee that you will receive an invitation. Okay, so just listen to those cue. If someone else tell you that they can get an invitation for you, keep your money. All right. Now, this pathway also requires preparation months in advance, just like what I'm saying a while ago. Um, the skill selection is very competitive, and it can take months. It can take, for other people, it can take 3 weeks. Yung very lucky talaga na very good yung timing niya. But for others, yeah, it can take months, it can take years, or maybe not. Right? Now, the other option would be a family partner visa. So this is a partner visa that you may be eligible. Now, for partner visa, well, obviously you need an Australian citizen or a PR or an eligible New Zealand citizen to become your sponsor. But this is only available to those who have genuine relationship with the Australian citizen, PR, and eligible New Zealand citizen. In this case, you have to prove that the relationship is genuine and continuing, and you have to address the four aspects of the relationship: financial, social, household, and commitment to each other. Now, if you say that we really love each other, unfortunately, love is not enough in this case. So that's not the end of it all. So evidence is critical. So evidence will still be looked at, and mere lip service and mere claim by you by saying without an evidence, it doesn't count at all. Okay. Now, also in some cases with family visa category, you may be able to say, for example, get a carer visa if someone in the family is sick. If you do have families in Australia, it could also be a child visa. Say, for example, you oh no, the child visa is no longer in there because it's a 485 visa. I'm sorry. So yeah, a care visa would be okay, or maybe a last remaining relative visa is okay. So those aspects in the family visa may still be available for you, but it depends on your situation and circumstances. Now, the last option that we're looking at for you, if you're holding a 485 visa, what are you going to do after? Then student visa is also available, but this must be used strategically, and there's no guarantee that it will work, but it may work if, say, for example, you are upgrading your qualification, if you are shifting your occupation pathway, and if the course aligns logically with your background. So, student visa is not a parking visa. So, the department will still assess your genuine student requirement, and the financial capacity, and the career progression logic. So, yun na yung ano natin ngayon. Ano? So, now, what you should not do. One is don't do nothing and hope and pray that everything will be okay for your visa. If it's going to expire, it's going to expire. So you cannot stop that. You cannot you cannot erase that by just not doing anything, or by just prayer and hoping that it will change. It is what it is. And you should not lodge a visa, a wrong type of visa, just to stay in Australia. Because if you do that, there's only one visa that will come into your mind, which is the protection visa or refugee visa, which Filipinos are not eligible. I'm saying are not eligible, except for a very, very extreme circumstances ng aplikante. But generally, tahimik po ang bansang Pilipinas. So please don't use it, because it's going to affect the general assessment of Philippines if you keep on using protection visa just for your own sake. Okay. Now also, if you work unlawfully, so don't do work without any work rights, yung working illegally. So please don't do that. And do not resign from your job before the nomination is lodged. Now, if yeah, so if you're asking for sponsorship for nomination, please honor your words, honor your contract with your employer, because at the end of the day, you are not only carrying yourself to the employer, you're carrying the entire Filipino community, so that Filipino community will still have a good impression para sa mga employer. Napakahirap nung, because there was a time, I think 6 years ago, when there's easy to get employer nomination, daming na-hire ng mga Filipinos, but then as soon as they are hired, they'll go somewhere else, they'll find another employer, iiwan nila yung gumastos sa kanila. So nagkaroon ng pangit na image yung Filipinos, no? Kaya medyo, teka muna, i-sponsorin pa ba namin sila or hindi na? So things like that. So please don't do that. So if an employer is willing to sponsor you, you agree to all the terms, you agree to the obligations, and you agree to be staying with them in order for you to get a visa, please honor that, so that they will honor also their obligation. And wait until the final weeks. Do not wait until your visa is about to expire. So because the last minute decisions are stressful, and it is expensive, and it's riskier. So I think mentioned that very clearly already. So what is a strategic mindset shift? So migration is not about which visa can I get quickly. It is all about which visa protects my long-term PR pathway. And your strategy will depend on your occupation, work experience, English level, relationship status, employer strength, and state criteria, which I have been explaining a while ago. So reality check, if you are a 485 visa holder and your 485 is about to expire, there is usually a pathway. But again, there should be planning, and it should be timed correctly, legally compliant, properly documented, and strategically selected. So panicking will only create mistakes, and strategy creates options. Okay? So with that in mind, again, we are always telling our audience and most of the Filipino people, we are aware that there's FB chat groups, there are some forums that can probably give you information, but always remember that the information that you get is only as good as far as their experiences go. So in other words, you may have a different experience, you may have a different situation that may not be applicable to the person telling you what to do. And they're not professional, and also be careful about the illegal practice, because I know they are in different forums for Filipinos seeking a visa, wherein they will have to message you directly and PM kita mamaya, message kita mamaya, and then they really groom you. They will really look after you, and will even take you to some prayer group saying that, you need to pray harder in order for this application to get through. There's really nothing wrong with prayers. In fact, that's really good. But obviously, you need to get a competent one. You need to get a professional one. Because at the end of the day, kahit na mabait yung tao, pero kung hindi competent, baka hindi pa rin makuha yung visa sa iyo, na para sa iyo. So, they need to be professional. They need to be competent. They need to know what they're doing. So, hindi pwedeng mabait lang. Maraming napapahamak sa mga mababait. In fact, lahat ng nangloloko, mababait sa umpisa. So be careful about that. So if your 485 visa is expiring, so don't panic, don't delay, plan properly, and migration is a long game, and protect your future. Okay, that's all for me. I can see some questions, I think. Is there any question? Yeah, so I can see some question. I would like to answer them now. Alright, this is from Angie Rueda. Hello, ask ko lang po sa 407 visa, ano po yung mga requirements? Masyadong mahaba requirements ng 407 training visa, but obviously you need an employer willing to give you training, and you need to have, as an applicant, you need to have at least, you need to have completed at least 1 year full-time work experience in the last 2 years before lodging the application. And you need to have a training plan, very, very important for this. And on the side of your employer, they need to present their financials. They need to present why they are giving a training for you, what's the purpose of this, and in your case, what are you going to use this for. And that's why it's very important yung training plan. Okay, all the other things will be documentary and other submissions. Now, in our case, if we do the 407, we are writing submissions on behalf of the employer in order to answer the requirements of the immigration, and also provide a training plan. Okay. Pero ano lang yun ha, kaunti lang yan, marami pa yun. Those are just the main points. Okay. From any circ, ang hirap pasahin ng kanyang apelido. Anyway, ma'am, sa 482 visa, ano pong unang step na gagawin? Thanks po. Okay. First step is identify your occupation. And then second is identify whether that occupation is on the list. Now, in most cases, some people are confused about their occupation kasi pwedeng sa isang trabaho nila, ang dami ng roles na ginawa nila na may be related pero hindi targeted for one occupation. So very important is really to select the correct occupation. And for you to be able to do that is, of course, you need to have a professional to match whatever roles, whatever task you've been doing in the past, whether it's match to the ANSCO occupation set by Australia. If it requires a skills assessment, then that will be your next step. Kung match siya dun sa occupation na yun, then skills assessment if there is a requirement for skills assessment. Kung graduate ka ng Australia, then just like what I've explained, you are exempted from skills assessment. Okay? And then obviously, you need to get an employer that will be willing to sponsor you. With the employer, they will need to advertise the position. They will need to show that their need is genuine. And they will also need to justify the salary that's being given to you. They will need to do labor market testing. They need to do a survey of the salary comparable to whatever they're giving to you. And then they will have to show all their financials. No? So maraming kalakip na ano yun, maraming kalakip na submissions doon. No? In your case, basic really is first the occupation, and then of course if the occupation match, then you will need to get certificate of employment and evidence of your work experience. So with evidence of work experience, it's not enough that you have certificate of employment. Now you have to have a third party certification, including yung SSS contribution or BIR tax record, pay slips, no? Um, Madali na kasing gawin ngayon yung payslips eh, and sometimes unilateral yun, ikaw lang yung gumagawa. Pero with the third party now, because it's mandatory sa Philippines na magbabayad ka ng SSS mo, kaya PhilHealth o kung ano man yung Social Security contribution mo. So that's being asked by the immigration. Or sometimes, kung walang payslip or other things, then you will need to show yung bank statement mo na meron kang sweldo regularly, no? Yeah, so ganoon. Yeah, after that, of course, just like what I'm always saying, if you really need to find out, I think we have discussed in detail the 482 visa. So there are three parts: sponsorship, nomination, and visa application. Each one has a set of requirements. Yung ba yung tanong niya? Ano yung first step? Nakarating ako sa first 5 steps? Okay. If petition po ng father for PR, possible po ba di ma-approve ang petition kapag may health problem like kidney or heart? Yes. Yes. Yung heart siguro okay, pero yung kidney, well, the scrutiny is there, no? It depends on magkano gagastusin. Kasi with kidney, ano yan eh, lifelong disease yan eh, no? And may mga treatments na very expensive. So, kung lalagpas sa threshold yung gagastusin sa kanila, then the medical officer of the Commonwealth, yung MOC, will have to say that this is how much the government will spend, then show your case kung bababa pa ba dyan. But normally when the medical officer of Commonwealth says that it's going to be 1 million Australian dollars over lifetime, mahirap i-argue yun, no? Kasi wala namang magbibigay ng defensible medical and cost assessment for someone, you know. Yeah, so it will be very hard to get it through. Okay, so is that all? From Rox Kapunayan, do I really need to have IELTS to study in Australia? Also, the answer to that is yes, and strong yes. And also, need po bang match yung course sa graduate course mo or sa working experience mo? It could be both. It could only be one course in graduate or could be working experience. If not, may chance pa din po ba na ma-approve? O kung hindi, may chance ba? So, ang ibig mong sabihin, if not, may chance po ba ma-approve? Ibig sabihin, walang IELTS, hindi match yung course, hindi rin match yung work experience. The chance is very, very slim, under 50% maybe. So, it will be refused. Princess Kumar, red flag po ba if walang tax record na mai-provide for phone 9 for visa, pero merong bank statement and payslip? No. Okay, no bank statement and payslip, as long as yung bank statement, nandoon yung sweldo corresponding to the payslip at particular yung pinanggalingan ng pera. Now, also yung contribution sa SSS. No? And then, of course, you need to explain a little bit more. Meron kasing mga companies, especially sa Philippines, na hindi naman talaga nagbibigay ng, o hindi nagpa-file ng tax. Yeah. Ganoon. So, pero yeah, pwede naman. But there will be a lot of paperwork involved. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's it for now. Thank you very much for those who came here today. Now we are going to have a little bit of change with Visa Mo Sagot Ko. So we would like to do it maybe twice a month because it's getting to be tasking to be doing this every week. But then we will be moving on to short videos in order to be more targeted on what you really need. So we're starting next month. So we will be doing Visa Mo Sagot Ko twice a month, and more videos will be coming, mga short videos targeting specific topic, so that it will be more relevant to our audience. Okay? So maraming salamat for coming out tonight. And yeah, if you need some help with your Australian visa application or your plans to come to Australia, always contact us, Auspac Visa. Our phone numbers is on the website or Facebook page, but if you don't catch it, then just email admin@auspacvisa.com.au or info@auspacvisa.com.au. Okay, maraming salamat po and you have a good night. Thank you very much and bye.
Australia, the land of opportunity, natural beauty, and endless possibilities. If you ever dreamed of calling Australia your home, Auspac Visa is here to make that dream a reality. At Auspac Visa, we specialize in helping Filipinos secure the Australian visa they need. Our team of experienced immigration experts is here to guide you every step of the way. From visa applications to paperwork, we handle it all. You can focus on planning your new life down under. And when the time comes, we'll be there with you as you take the oath and become an Australian citizen. Join the thousands of satisfied clients who have made their dreams come true with Auspac Visa. Australia is waiting for you. Contact Auspac Visa today and start your journey towards a brighter future. Auspac Visa, your trusted immigration law services. Call us today or visit our website to schedule your consultation.